when I was 5, I actually was coming from the fact that I felt helpless in that space.
Welcome to Entrepreneur. Let me say it again, Entrepreneur. I am so grateful today. I am so grateful today to have my girl, Lola. I got Lola here, the black girl investor. Y'all don't hear me. Yes, indeed. I got the black girl investor here.
So glad to be here.
But she's more than that. She's a real estate guru. She's a teacher. She's a vegan person who can tell me how to cook food, cook it right, and stay healthy.
Yeah.
Because when I was vegan, I felt like I was dying. But anyway, we're here today for her to share her experience as an entrepreneur, a person who does business to align herself with her business. Does that make sense? Stay with me. Stay with me. Are y'all ready? All right, Lola.
What's going on?
It's my pleasure to have you here.
It's so good to be here with you.
Thank you. I appreciate you coming. I really do.
I was ready.
I'm glad you was ready, girl. So, my first question, and always my first question is, I just need to know, who is Lola?
Oh my goodness, she going in deep right away. Well, so, that's such a great question at this point in my life.
Okay.
2024 has been about me exploring just that and really finding out so many things about myself that I didn't even know. And I think I'm discovering that I feel I'm 56 years young. I think I'm discovering that I haven't been who I wanted to be for most of my adult life. Does that sound crazy?
Oh, I love it. It does not sound crazy. Because at the end of the day, it's important and imperative that we understand who we are, right?
Yeah.
And oftentimes we think we know, but you really have to take a step back and figure it out.
You do. And you have to start to look at the things that are happening in your life. A lot of times we have a blame culture that we live in. Everything is somebody else's fault, right? But then when you start seeing the same thing happening over and over again,
and you're the
only comment, you got to ask yourself, well, this stuff might be because of me. And I think I realized that there was a track playing in my background that was creating a lot of behavior that I really had to take responsibility for. And I tell people that, they say, what you talking about? No, like automatic, default type of stuff with how I treat myself more than anything else. And what I allow other people to do in my life to me, with me, how I was allowing people and giving them permission to kind of run me in the background.
What do you think that track was? What was that track saying to you?
Oh man, you want me to really tell you that?
Let me ask you again. What was that track saying to you?
So this is gonna be deep, T. Okay, so this is gonna be real deep. So when I was 5, I actually was molested.
Okay.
And I think that it actually happened twice. Probably when I was 5, and then again when I was like 10 or 9. Okay. Two different people, and one of them was a family member. And so what it did was it made me give up my power. I was like, where is this coming from, where you're giving up your power on a regular basis, where you are allowing people to do things and you're being so passive, not to strangers, but to people that I trusted and to people who were there supposed to protect me in relationships. And I realized, I kid you not, maybe only about 2 months ago, that this was coming from the fact that I felt helpless in that space. And that all this time I was letting that play like that. And so I was like, people would, in my marriage, I was very passive, and people say, yeah, right. But people who know me closely, they know that that was true, but they couldn't figure it out because I'm not, I'm a Brooklyn girl,
Brooklyn,
right? But that's where it was coming from. It was coming from that space where I felt like I lost my power. So when I got close, especially to another male, I was relenting. I was kind of like throwing my hands up and just allowing, okay, like that. in my relationships. And, you know, I'm still a little rough around the edges, but for the most part, I realized I was doing that in business and a lot of different other spaces over and over and over again.
So would you say your inner child was running your life?
Oh my goodness. The entrepreneur's inner child.
I receive it.
Yeah, man. The entrepreneur's inner child was absolutely running her life because I had never really, I don't think, told that little girl that she wasn't at fault, that everybody who says they love you is not going to protect you. So you have to protect yourself first. And you are worthy of being protected.
Say it again.
I am worthy of being protected.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep.
And protecting her because she's a part of you.
Absolutely.
And so you said you realized this like 2 months ago. Mm-hmm. What made the light bulb go off?
So I'm dating because I'm single.
Okay.
And I'm single because of me. So let's be clear.
I receive it.
And I started to ask that question, like, I'm seeing people get, you know, together, you know, my 600-pound life, she got a husband, you know, right?
I am not going to be a part of this, Miss Lola.
No, I'm just saying.
Okay.
She can't get out the bed. She can't get through the room. But there's a man that put a ring on her finger. So I started really asking myself, and in dating, I was being very judgmental, people that I was meeting. And I said to myself, well, why are you being so judgmental? I realized that behavior was chasing people away subconsciously. It was chasing people away. And I said, okay, you got to figure out what's going on. And I started asking myself, it wasn't through therapy. You know, I started asking myself, what is it? What's going on? Like, why would you feel like that? Like, where did you first feel like that? Like, why, you know, all of those kind of questions. And though I did, it wasn't like I didn't remember that those things happened to me, but I had pushed them so, you know, I'm not about woe is me.
Right. I receive it.
So I had pushed those things so far to the back that I made them not matter. They didn't make a difference. They didn't matter. That didn't matter. Like, I'm Lola. You know what I'm saying? That didn't matter. I'm strong. I'm powerful. That can't conquer me. And because I didn't acknowledge that it happened and the feelings that I had as a result of it happening, I couldn't move past it. And I couldn't be in a long-standing relationship. Not really. And I couldn't figure out how to let other people be themselves because I was so busy trying to be this other person so that I could continue to function. Because the day that I really figured it out, I never forget, I was on my way going somewhere and I was in the mirror doing my makeup and all these visions started flooding through my head of what had happened. And I broke down and I just lost it. I lost it. And I had to go where I was going. I couldn't cancel. So I got myself together. I redid my makeup, but all the way over to the event, that's all I kept thinking about. And I said to myself, well, you're going to work through this. But I was glad and I congratulated myself that I dealt with it in that moment and allowed myself to cry. And that now I had opened up the door, I could walk through and I could work through it.
So I want to point out a small point that you made. Mm-hmm. You said you were asking yourself the questions, mm-hmm. right? And oftentimes what people don't realize is that the answers will come. They may not drop in the moment you ask.
Yes.
But they'll drop in when the space is there for it to drop in and mm-hmm. you'll get it. And so I don't think people really get how important it is to be introspective, right? It's the key to you living a fulfilled life at the end of the day. Because we all have our shot, right? We all have it, right? But unless we take charge and unless we decide that I'm going to take care of me, I'm going to take care of that little girl in me, that whatever happened to me that's making my adult life. Because sometimes when people react crazy or whatever, people don't realize that's the little kid.
That's right. It's having a tantrum.
Right. Something happened, right? So I commend you. I love that you say that. You know, I hope people get that totally. So my next question is, so now you're ready to walk in your power.
I am. And I've been so proud of myself because I have been saying no.
You've been saying emphatically no?
No. I do not want to. I will not. I cannot. I don't feel like it. And that's something that I thought someone asked me. She's an online influencer. And I was in one of her classes and we got to know each other. She was like, are you a people pleaser? I was like, I'm thinking, what me? I said, no, I ain't no people pleaser. Why would you ask me that? And then I posted it on social media. I was like, somebody just asked me if I was a people pleaser. Do y'all think I'm a people pleaser? And everybody's like, you? Hell no. Blah, 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 blah. But then I really was. I really was, because I found myself saying yes to so many things I didn't want to do, being bothered with people I didn't want to be bothered with, because for some reason I thought that what they had was more powerful than what I had, and I needed to stay attached to them. But everybody around me was saying, I don't know why you think that person got all this juice. You got the juice. You know these people. You can do this. You've done that. But those things, they don't mean anything. It's like, water off a duck's back.
Exactly.
If you can't acknowledge them and embrace them yourself. And so, no, I've started to seriously embrace them and say no. I think I see it more in my relationship life than anywhere else, in meeting these nice gentlemen, just kind of saying, well, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Oh, well, I don't want to meet you there. And before it was like, well, okay, I guess so, that's okay. And so that's over. And a lot of people probably think I was always like that, but I wasn't always like that.
You pretty much went along.
A lot.
To get along.
A lot.
I guess what my real question is that you being an only child, and at this point in your life, do you believe that there's anything that you would do different growing up as an only child?
Yeah. I would definitely have hammered down this truth about this revelation that I had. And I always knew it. I never told my mother about the second time, but I would have not let the thought of the family shaming me keep me quiet. The only reason I'm talking about it now is because two of the people that it would have hurt died. My aunt died last year, and her daughter died this year. And that was the household that happened inside of. And the other person that I would be concerned about, she understands the dynamic. She doesn't know about me, but she does understand the dynamic.
Got it.
And so I felt free. I mean, I loved my cousin, and she kind of knew. She asked me, did he do something to you? And I was like, yeah, he did. But we never talked about it. And so I would have told that little girl, it's okay, you tell. Don't worry about if your mother thinks that your father will kill him. You know what I'm saying? You tell. And then I would have wished, I don't know how I would have moved that, but that my mom knew to get me help, to be able to move past it and to work through it, and that she understood the weight of it. Because I think from the time frame that we come from, and I'm a child of the late 60s, the first thing that was said to me when it happened to me was, don't no 15-year-old boy want nothing with no stinking tail little girl like you. And that's what I held on to. That's what I thought, subconsciously, if not consciously, that's what I thought. And I would have figured out a way. I would have spoke my truth, and I would have kept pushing until I was heard and until I was helped so that I could be healed.
And that's a lovely thought, a very, very lovely thought. Herein lies the problem. Usually when stuff happens that young, we don't know how to process it, so we don't know what to do.
Don't know what to do.
Right? So it's a catch-22. But when we do get to a point where we do understand and we can make a real decision, it's so many families that hush about that kind of activity.
It's amazing. And most men who would never do that, to them, they can't even fathom that it's real. Like, I've had conversations with guys that say, black men don't do that. What? Ain't you seen The Color Purple? Nah.
Mister? You ain't seen Mister?
Ain't you seen The Color Purple? Ain't you read a Toni Morrison or a Maya Angelou or have you not read anybody's books? Of course they would, Any man could if they're not healed. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that he was harmed. I believe that 100%. That's a revelation I just came to this year. I said it to my mother. I believe someone did something to him that he couldn't process and couldn't articulate. And his way of handling it was to continue to do that to other people. So
when I think about, since we're talking about black men and them doing, ironically, when I think about, I'm just going to talk about the black men who've been prosecuted in terms of the Bill Cosby's, the R. Kelly, and now Diddy.
Yeah.
We know R. Kelly's story. He was molested.
Right. That's right. That's right. Well, they're saying Diddy was too now.
So his mom, supposedly his
Auntie, mama, or whoever she is.
had some kind of brothel house, right? The father was a pimp. He got killed.
Yep.
How he ran his parties, based on what we're hearing,
That's right.
sounds like he's duplicating something he saw,
100%,
right? And we don't
absolutely.
know if something happened to him, right? And I'm not making excuses for him. What I'm saying is that so much happens that we don't talk about, and people just are out here living, not really knowing how to heal. And then when you have that kind of money, it just magnifies what your issues are.
It magnetizes it immensely because the power that you feel.
Exactly.
And it's unyielded. And it's so big. And I mean, this man was a billionaire for a minute, right?
Yes.
So to have that much money and it kind of gives you this control. And I guess if you're feeling less than because you were touched, harmed, or whatever, that makes you feel whole to manipulate and to harm somebody else. We know other people who do that too. I won't talk about that. But as a whole in our society, the greater make the lesser feel less so that they can feel great.
And I'm not surprised that he was with a lot of other men.
No, absolutely not.
And
those rumors have been there forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
So it is what it is. And so I bring all that up to say is that sex is a really powerful thing in this world.
Ooh.
It's a really powerful thing. I guess the only thing I don't understand is, why do you have to drug people to have sex with them?
Well, that's the power. See, with him, I think everything was excessive. That's why I believe if he was abused, it was excessive. Because I think what has a tendency to happen is it matches. You think about Jeffrey Dahmer and those two twins, those Menendez boys, the horrific things that they did match the horrific acts that were done to them, right? So imagine how abused he was. Like you said again, not to excuse it. No. We ain't doing that, okay?
Right.
Not to excuse it, but everything has a reason. And we have to remember that when love is removed from the room, all other kind of things can creep into the space to take over.
Exactly.
And usually it's the opposite.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we have to heal.
So
and so
important.
if we don't address the things, nobody's agreeing with any of those things that happen, but we have to address the healing because it starts to repeat. What's going to happen with his sons?
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? The young one, they're already talking about. So we have to heal. We have to stop the pattern somewhere. So it's imperative. I thank you for sharing that.
Oh no, and it's the first time I've shared it.
Truly appreciate that. Really, and hopefully, the goal is for that to help someone. Let's talk about business for a minute.
Yes, ma'am.
So, how long, Miss Lola, have you been in business? Because you've had several businesses. So, share with us.
Girl, and trust me, you don't even know about half of it. So the joke is that I was a businesswoman since I was in middle school.
Okay.
Right, junior high school. I had business cards. Right, I made them. We printed out a sheet of paper and I cut them up, and I had cards because my parents went Amway, and so I thought I was the little sub Amway distributor.
Got it.
Along with them.
Of course.
But really, since I was at least in high school, I legitimately had businesses. So I would sell whatever, art, my poetry, because I'm a poet. So I would sell my poetry to family members, friends, people at my mother's job, whatever. But I've been in the real estate business for 37 years. I think that's right.
Okay.
Yeah. When I got my real estate license when I was 19 years old.
Got it.
So it's been a long time.
Okay. And how long did you sell houses, or are you still selling houses? Or
I sold houses as a real estate agent in New York for a very short period of time. It was just like not my thing. And so probably there for maybe about a year or two. Then I came down here to Maryland and did it for maybe another 3 years or something like that. But I gotta tell you, it's not my favorite thing to do. So I was watching people start to do investing. And I was like, oh, I'd rather do that, right? So my mother and I went to, Rose Street in Baltimore City. And I'll never forget, the neighborhood looked very interesting. I'll say it like that. And then
Very interesting.
very interesting.
Okay, I received it.
As an agent, that's all I can say. And so we went to this house, excuse me, that we had been told about. It was gorgeous. They had Brazilian hardwood floors. They had a rooftop deck. They had, granite in the kitchen. I mean, it was amazing.
Okay.
But it was like between two board ups, right? But we don't know no better. We from New York, right? So we like, how much is it? They said $35,000. That's like free. That's like free, right? So we left. Was like, ooh, we got to get this house. We got to get this house. And then finally, we ended up talking to somebody who said, you don't buy a house like that on a block like that, but in between two board ups, like it's not gonna comp out, right? And then my mom's like, well, I guess you're right, but I mean, look. And then we realized that wasn't the right thing to do. But then I was bitten by the bug. So I started trying to find somebody to teach me real estate investing. And one day I was in Borders Books over in Largo. And in the door walked this bald-headed gentleman that had an earpiece in one ear. And he was talking on the phone. And I was listening. I was ear hustling. And I wrote on a napkin and held in front of him. I said, and when you get off the phone, can you tell me more about your real estate investing course? And, oh, by the way, what part of New York are you from? Because I could hear his accent.
Right.
And he bartered with me at the time. My father was dying of cancer at the time. I had lost my first home because my dad was sick. I was going to chemo treatments with him, and I got fired from my job. And so I was living with my mom again, but we were at Borders Books, and I was homeschooling my son. And he walked in, and he said, well, you a writer? I was telling him, he said, well, I'll tell you what, write my copy, and I'll teach you real estate.
Yeah, I do.
And I said, okay. I don't think I ever wrote his copy at that time. But, okay. But he realized the mindset that I had. Mm-hmm. And so really 2 months later, we were dating each other, right? So he started teaching me everything he knew. And every time I taught...
2 months later. Oh, okay. All right.
Actually, we were probably dating before that. But
real estate investing with benefits.
With benefits. With serious benefits. Because at the time, I had no money, right? So serious benefits. My car was on the blink. And then I was working for a new home builder. I won't say the name of it.
Sure.
Luxury new home builder in the area. And I needed to take my father to chemo. And they wouldn't let me go. And I said, he called me and I just started crying. I was like, oh, let me take my father to chemo. He said, pack up your stuff. I'm going to come get you. This was probably maybe 45 days into knowing him. Mm-hmm. He said, come get yours. I'm going to come get you. He came and picked me up. He said, I'm going to teach you this business. You're going to help me teach other people. Don't ever worry about going back there again. And I always tell people, I went on in the next year to make money that I had made the whole previous 10 or 15 years combined.
Amen.
Amen.
Right? And it only takes one person.
One person to believe in you.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. That's all it takes. I mean, besides the benefits,
yeah.
But which might have
a little
inspired him a little bit.
A little bit more.
I'm just saying.
They inspire, girl. I be inspiring.
Okay, got it. So then you learned a bit, but you taught real estate. I mean, you taught this kind of real estate investing for a while, didn't you?
Yeah. After that, I've been teaching for 18 years.
Okay.
So yeah, I've been teaching real estate investing, specifically wholesaling. I've done not a lot, maybe about 7 flips myself.
Okay.
And so I have walked people through flips with other people who've been doing it for longer than me. Mm-hmm. And usually I teach people the front end. Right. And then they'll take them on.
What's the front end?
Yeah. Well, the front end is learning how to find that property.
Okay.
Learning how to build that buyer's list. Okay. Learning the business of real estate, because it's one thing to know how to flip a house. It's another thing to understand how to put a team together, what kind of attorney you should have, what kind of paperwork. So really teaching them the first part in the beginning of getting involved in a business. And then really, honestly, the first part is mindset, because so many people go into real estate not thinking of it as a business. They just think, I want to flip a house or I want to do a wholesale deal. But it's a business. And when you have a 9-to-5 mentality, you got to get that mind right, because you're looking for somebody to come help you, and ain't nobody coming to help you.
Well, let's stay on mindset for a minute. What came to me when you said, I find that, everybody says, all the people, anybody who's got a lot of money, they own real estate,
That's right? Mm-hmm.
Which makes everybody want to be in the real estate game, because they believe it's the way to really prosper. Mm-hmm. But what about, have you found in the students, and let me just say from my experience in real estate, people who were meant to do real estate, who are passionate about it, are successful. People who are doing it just for the money, they never make it and they lose money. And I don't want to say never in a negative way. I'm saying it never fulfills the need that they went into it for. But that's true for anything. But I want to really make it a point about real estate, because we equate real estate with being rich.
That's right.
And so in your experience in teaching people, what would you say your success rate of the people, like, a better question, could you tell right away who was going to be good and who wasn't?
Usually after a while, I literally have taught over 500 people how to do wholesaling. Okay. And so after a while, you could tell. I could tell by the first 15 minutes typically. And then I've turned a lot of people away, right? No, I don't want your money. Or either they signed up and I say, could you take your money back? Because I don't want to be bothered. But it's interesting that you say that, because I think that everybody who ventures out, first of all, to do a real estate deal, to get yourself involved in a flip, because that's a commitment. That's a marriage, okay?
I like that phrase. Yeah, it's absolutely.
It's a marriage, and they may not have no benefits, okay?
None
whatsoever. You might end up with nothing,
right?
Okay, and because it is, I think that people should take steps prior to doing something that involved in real estate to see if it's really for them. The same thing goes for people paying people for courses. I love when people pay me to learn, right? But I think that people should take lower level courses for the basics first to see if it's for you. Like I always tell people, oh no, don't do all of that. Do this boot camp. Learn really what it's about, and learn how to find somebody to teach you who's really going to tell you, because most people are not going to tell you what it's about. They tell you what you want to hear because they know you only going to go so far. Then you got to do what? Then you got to come back and pay them more money to teach them more stuff so they can go to the next level. That's the game. I went to How to Be a Guru school, right? So literally, there's a teaching format for that. Okay. And that's what it is. Teach them just enough so they feel empowered, but don't teach them enough so they can really go out on their own. So I always suggest to people that they really try to figure out if it's for you, because it's not for everybody. If you have a 9-to-5 mentality, real estate investing is not for you. Okay. Because you got to do all the parts, right? There's not 5 different departments that's, right. You ain't got somebody making your copies. No. You have to be the actor in all the parts. You got to play all the parts. And if you're not, and you know what? Nothing will reveal crazy like being an entrepreneur.
I receive it.
Okay. Nothing will show you how unstable a person is more than them becoming an independent, self-employed entrepreneur. And
which is the whole reason that we do this show, The Entrepreneur, is because everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, a brandpreneur, every kind of preneur. Mm-hmm. But the only preneur that'll get you to all the other preneurs is taking care of the business of you.
That's right.
Which is, if you don't do the work on you, if you don't control that little inner child, because we all have one, whether we realize it or not.
That's right.
Most people have a blind spot to it, have no concept of it. So therefore, you can't heal something you don't know about, right? And so I totally agree with your point of view on that.
Yeah, they don't know. And my other business that I've been in as long as real estate, literally I started in both the same year, which is being a network marketer, relationship marketing. Mm-hmm. And I have seen people get involved in network marketing and go completely, all in and leave their 9-to-5 jobs and have nervous breakdowns because you are it, right? At least with real estate, you got some other players with you, right? You got a buyer, but when it comes to network marketing, you are driving that bus. And when you wake up and realize no boss is coming to tell you when to do it, nobody's going to tell you it's 5:00 and you can go home. And if you didn't make enough money to pay your bills, you better stay up and continue calling or doing whatever you got to do. I literally had a young lady have a nervous breakdown.
You name all of that, but the biggest piece when you start to build your foundation and your network of people, all the personalities you have to deal with. Right?
Yeah, because you the therapist, You to everything. I just talking to my buddy the other day. He's really high level in another company. And he was like, I'm a therapist. I'm an accountant. I'm a babysitter. You know, all of these different things. Because you're right. And all of those. And I've always built really large teams. And so you said it. All them personalities, they'll make you go crazy.
Which is right. It's very important to understand who you are.
That's right.
The other thing is boundaries. A lot of people don't understand how important it is to have boundaries. Mm-hmm. They don't understand the complete sentence of no.
No, I have nothing else to say. No. That's just it.
And it doesn't, and, you know, to the people pleasing thing that you was talking about earlier, what's so interesting about that to me is that the people pleasing is really demoralizing you more and more. But the moment you set boundaries and love on you and respect you, and if a person can't receive no, then that just means that wasn't for you. You know what I mean? But if they respect you and love you and understand your boundaries, and you're just like, no, I'm not going to do that, and they still want to hang, then that's somebody you can deal with. And it should be vice versa for them.
No, that's real.
You know? Real. So I truly, I'm with you, Lola.
It's so funny you say that. I'm dating. I said that for the 5th time.
Are you dating?
I am.
She's dating.
I'm dating.
I want you guys to know that she's dating.
I'm dating.
Okay.
I'm single.
Okay. Good.
Single. Like a dollar bill. Nah. And so what you just said is exactly what I just said to somebody yesterday. We were supposed to go somewhere and do something. He says, no, I'm tired. Can you meet me here? I said, no, that wasn't what our agreement was. The agreement was that we were going to go to this place because you said, where did I want to go? I told you. Now you're trying to get me to do something else. He was like, well, I don't understand. I just worked out and I taught and I got it. I understand. But guess what? If you don't really feel like you can do that little bit of extra, then I'm probably not for you. Because I need somebody who's going to do the extra.
Well, and in retrospect, you knew you were going to do all that stuff. That should have been done.
I wasn't relenting. No.
If dinner was at 6, well, it's just on your scale. I had to work out at 11. Yeah, I receive it.
But the old Lola
would have been okay with it.
Would have said okay, and I would have went and I would have met it. And it's little things like that make me know that I'm growing.
And it also little things like that make you more sound in who you are.
Yeah.
Being your authentic self.
Yeah.
Giving you the peace to be who you deserve to be in this life.
Yeah.
I'm with that 100%. So, how come we got off on a tangent? My apologies. So, let me go to my next question. Okay, so I want to ask you about Black Girl Investor. Okay. What made you start Black Girl Investor?
So one morning I woke up and I just thought about who I was, right? What are you? Who are you? And I said, I'm Black Girl Investor. I mean, really, like it was that kind of conversation I had with myself. I'm Black Girl Investor. And then, but the old Lola, right, was going through all these changes about what people going to think. Oh, you're going to eliminate all the people? Oh, just the Black people? I was going through all these changes and I said, no, but that's what I am. I'm a Black girl and I invest in people, in myself, in my community, and in the world as a whole, right? Forget about real estate. And then people started challenging me. People started trying to get into the group. Well, you're being discriminatory. No, not really. If you want to be in a group, you can, but that's because you want to be a Black girl investor, and yours means that you invest in Black women. So if you don't invest in Black women, no, you can't be in a group. But if you do, we welcome you. And that's really where it came from. And I just have experience, and I know so many different situations and times where I'm doing a deal and there's a man in the room with me, and the assumption is that the man is doing the deal, right? Mm-hmm. And Lacey and I were going somewhere one day. We were talking to someone, and the man came, and Lacey was driving, and I was in the passenger seat, and the man walked around. I said hi to him. He knew he was meeting me. He walks around the car, goes to the drivers, and starts talking to Lacey. So about this deal, Lacey said, wait a minute, hold up. She's the person who you're supposed to be doing this deal with. He was like, oh, okay. But then he continued to talk to him. So after a while, Lacey rolled up the window and said, brother, go over there to the other side of the car. Because that's the kind of stuff that's done on a regular basis. It's a dismissive, thing to kind of make you feel like you're not worthy. And then everybody assumes if you say you're in real estate that you're a real estate agent. Now, I don't have no knock against agents because I'm an agent, but I'm not. Most time when I show up, that's not the capacity in which I show up. I show up as an investor. I was walking a property with a friend of mine, colleague of mine. She's a developer in DC. And there was another woman there with us, and we were walking through, we were talking, and her contractor was with her superintendent, and he stopped and turned around and said, "What do you do? Are you a developer too?" And he had his face all screwed up. I was like, "Well, yeah." And he said, "Wow." But he was kind of dismissing all of us, which I thought was just in this day and time. But that's where Black Girl Investor came from. It came from a space of me saying, I know that we're not being treated fairly. I know we're not being taken seriously. And you're not by yourself. And you don't have to be a real estate agent to be respected as a real estate professional. You would not believe the people that when I reinstated my real estate license sent me congratulations like I had never done a real estate deal in my life. But having that license as an agent made them feel like I was legit.
You were competent. Because you couldn't be competent.
I could not be without that license.
I receive it. If I wanted to be a Black girl investor, and I'm a broke Black girl investor, what would you tell me to do? I'm broke, y'all. I'm broke, okay? But I'm a Black girl and I want to invest. What would you tell me?
I would tell you Oprah once said, and this is what Oprah said, I ain't say it. Oprah once said, if you want to go far, get you some good white folks. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say if you want to go far in real estate investing, you don't have any cash, get you some good money folks, right? So find some people who you can get excited about what your project is. Find you some people with good credit. Find some people with some 401ks they can pull some money out of, or some insurance policies they can pull some money out of. Some people that you can put together. You can all get together and put your money together and go ahead and do it. Because you can always, OPM, we always hear about that, other people's money. It's real. Now, you have to be a credible person, so you could not have ramsacked all your relationships and try to do that. But if you've been good to people, if you've been responsible, if you've been caring, if you've been full of integrity, then you can do that. But you have to be able to ask, right? And that's a big deal for women to ask for help when they need it. I know because I'm one of them, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So if you can ask, you can get it done, broke or not.
So I want to do a real estate deal, and I need to go, preferably because my first thought would be go to my family and friends and people I know with money. What is this something I can do without paperwork, or is this something that I need to set up a business and have some way to how would I do that? I'm asking them for their money, but I'm sure they're going to want something to prove that, they gave me the money.
First of all, you got way better friends and family than me, because my family ain't giving me nothing. They don't have no money. Y'all know it's true. Don't get mad. Y'all know it's true. So
again, I won't be a part of that fam, but okay.
Well, I mean, some of them do. But no, you know what? I take that back. Used to be they didn't, right? But my young cousins, they are doing big things, right? They are amazing. My little cousins are doing big things. But no matter whether it's your friend or your family or your foe, because sometimes you do business with people you might not even like that much.
Correct.
Do a contract, right? Simple contracts are all over the internet that you can pull up, that are agreements that you can establish and things in writing. Typically, if somebody's lending you money, they want some return on their money. They want an ROI, right? A return on their investment. So figure out what that looks like. 10% people are usually okay with, but if you know your return, what you're going to make is really huge, then give them a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Depends on what you're doing. If you're doing a buy and hold deal where you're going to keep the property and you're going to rent it out, you can give them a little bit more interest on their money, right? Because it's a long-term play. It's not quick. So yeah, you want to do a document, because not doing a document, in the end, it's like they never gave you any money.
So you've been a real estate agent, you're a Black girl investor, you've done development. What's your next move?
My next move has nothing to do with any of that.
Okay.
Still always keeping those things in my pocket. I'm moving to still training, still teaching, but doing digital education. So doing digital products and selling them online through all the different online, portals. because it's time for me to be able to move around more, be more free, right? And I believe that that is how I can be free. I know it is, because I'm really learning from a real powerful trainer that I found online. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm building, taking all these years and years and years of training materials and combining them to make projects and make products so that I can share them with people and they can be affordable, right? I think we're coming up on a time here. We're at a time here where people are looking for a way to make things easier for their lives and their lifestyles, to make things okay, to protect their families, to build their legacies, right? And so because of that, to me, digital learning is powerful because you can learn anywhere from anybody, any topic. And I'm excited about doing that for myself, but then I'm more excited about helping other people do it as well. So helping to build that digital product base that I can get out there to the world in all the different languages because of AI. I'm super excited about that.
As you should be. And we've talked about your inner child. Mm-hmm. We've talked about real estate. Mm-hmm. And now we're talking about you being a digital marketing millionaire.
Yes.
So my next question is, where does purpose fit in all this?
So real estate for me has always been about, so people try to figure out what their purpose is. I figured out a long time ago what my purpose was, what my legacy would be. My purpose is to connect people. That's like my biggest gift. Mm-hmm. My biggest gift is connecting folks of like mind, like purpose, like hearts. I refer to my brain as my Lola-dex.
LD. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. My Lola-dex. And so because it's my Lola-dex, I just finished talking to somebody on the way over here. I was like, oh, I know, boop, 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 boop. And I connected her to someone, right? And so I know that my purpose is to continue to connect. I think that the space that we're in our world, not even just in our country, just in time, mm-hmm. that we need each other. And I think that us mastering how to need each other and provide and supply each other effectively is what we need to learn how to do. So my purpose is to continue to teach people how to connect, how to be beneficial to each other, mutually beneficial, because we always I want from you, you want from me. How are we working together, right? So I believe that my purpose going forward is to teach people how to effectively work together for the greater good of everybody. Sometimes everybody's just the people in the room, right? Okay. But then I think that can spill out into an even greater space. So somebody said, how you want to go out of here? I want to go out of here teaching people how to love up on people in a productive, powerful way for profit.
I received that. You a connector. It's your purpose. Mm-hmm. You're going to roll out of here that you gave people legacy and you gave them a life that they deserve.
Absolutely.
What are you passionate about?
I think I'm passionate about becoming free. I mean, I think that earlier today I was talking to a young lady who wants to move to Gambia, West Africa. And as I was talking to her, I was getting so excited. It wasn't even about Gambia. It was about the possibility, and she's a black farmer, and she's doing it there. I was excited about where my life will take me. Yes, here and in Africa. Okay, she has a farm, beautiful orange farm here in North Carolina, and she has another one in Africa. She and her husband, and I was so elated, like I was beaming, like I was pulsating, like the frequency was high, the vibration was high, and I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to feel this good about everything, that I want to feel this free. That was such a freedom in the thought. I could see myself in Gambia walking through her orange fields, I could see myself in North Carolina visiting her and being able to have the freedom to do those things with those kinds of people. I'm crazy passionate about that.
I love it. Because in that becomes another sense of you moving to the next realm of whatever your purpose is. So yes. I love that. I love that. What's prosperity?
Prosperity is financial freedom. And it's that financial freedom creating a See, I think when you are financially crippled, it's hard for you to be your most creative. It's hard for you to be your most vibrant. It's hard for you to think as clearly as you possibly can. So for me, financial freedom is not even about the money. It's not about the Rolls Royces or nothing like that you could buy. It's about the time that it will afford you to be creative, to help other people just because you want to. And the more people that you help just because you want to me, that's being prosperous. To bless the other of God's children here on the earth, that's prosperity. To be able to breathe life and excitement into them.
I want to go back to a point you just touched on in terms of not being financially stable, not having the finances you need, so it stunts your growth in terms of creativity. And I'm going to throw out the law of attraction here. Mm-hmm. I was reading somewhere where it was Rhonda Byrne who did The Secret. Mm-hmm. And what she said was, she says, I know in that time when you don't have all the finances that you need, that it's very difficult to focus. But she said, if more people think about simple things and be just truly grateful in the moment, because the universe, if you're living in that fear, that scarcity mindset, the universe is going to continue to give you scarcity and mindset. But if you decide that you wake up every day, I'm grateful, Lord, I woke up this morning. I'm grateful for the air that I breathe. I'm grateful for I got clothes on my body. It's so many things that you still have.
Yes.
So many people. And what she said is, if you work from that mindset, if you find peace in that mindset, you'll start to see things shift and money no longer becomes a problem.
That's true.
Because you're living in a life that you're saying that there's not enough. And the God we know says there's always enough.
More than.
Right? You can't even imagine what I got going on, right? So I just wanted to interject that piece in, because I think so many of us, especially us, live in such a scarcity mindset. And it's a horrible place to be in, right? It's a horrible place to be in.
No, it is.
But if you can change your mindset, if you can really focus on what you're grateful for, and then really focus on what you really, really desire in your heart, and keep your, what about if I'm going to get put out? I keep saying, you keep focusing on, I need to do what I need to do to be prosperous, and this is going to make me prosperous.
And you still got to be living in order to get put out.
Exactly.
You still breathing. You still breathing. What Les Brown said, if I can look up, I can get up.
Get up. Look up. Get up. I'm with you, Lola. I'm with you. So my next question is I want to ask you, is there anything that you want to share, or is there a question that I didn't ask that you would like to share?
I would. I think what I would like to share most of all, because of where we are right now as a country, is it's okay. Don't hold your breath. Move, right? Faith and works, right? Faith plus works. But you're not going to sit around and you got to breathe. And you got to understand, this is not a personal thing. This is not personal. This is political, and it's about profit. And I just want everybody to not let, I think what has stunned me, well, no, it hasn't stunned me, but it has made very clear to me, and it has made me kind of start to create boxes for people, are the people who are just so miserable, and they just determine that they just want to go crawl up underneath a bus or something because we have a new president. And then the people who's like, oh, we good, let's keep it moving. Everybody should be saying that. Because the only way that you're stuck and you in trouble is if you don't keep it moving.
Exactly.
So I guess I just want to say, keep it moving. And I don't want to get into religious stuff, but, there's no greater power than whoever your Almighty is. Right? That is the governing factor. And the thing I say to myself when things look like the walls are closing in on whatever the situation is, there's no person, place, situation, idea, or point that is my source. Only God is my source.
Only God is my source.
That's it. Hang on to that.
I receive it. Thank you, Lola. So, before we close out, and as we've decided to move forward on this entrepreneur journey, and as I've started to do, you're probably like my 20th
I know, I've been watching.
interview. People have said to me, you need to interject more of your personality, and people need to get to know you. So I thought I would end each show by playing a little game. Mm-hmm. And the game is, you get to ask me 2 questions, and I'm going to answer them. Right. Why am I doing this? I have no idea. But you get to ask me 2 questions, and I will answer them. And so I'm afraid. And you go right ahead.
Don't be afraid. Actually, that's my first question. What are you afraid of?
I'm truly afraid of transitioning without doing the things that God put me here to do. I want to transition and go to the other side. And he say, job well done.
You've already done that.
I hope so. I'm working really hard every day to that.
You've already done that. But I still want you to stay around a long time.
Thank you. I appreciate that, love.
but you've already done that. Okay, and the other question is because this is something I've been asking myself lately. What does real love feel like to you? So if somebody really loves you, what does that feel like to you when it's coming from somebody? Like, how do you know that they really love you? So forget about what they're supposed to be doing. If somebody really loved me, it would feel like, or they would do what?
So the first thought that comes to my mind, though, is I need to understand what real life feels to me, how my self-love feels to me, how I love me. Like, nobody can love me to the place I need to be loved until I love me to the place I need to be loved, right? I need to consistently understand what it is that I want, what it is I deserve, and am I willing to wait for it? The second thing in terms of what real love feels like is that it must be a mind, body, soul, spirit connection.
Yeah.
If it's not, it will not last.
Right. Right.
It just won't. We're created to have that connection in all those levels.
Right.
Right? And most times we're in relationships and we wonder why they fizzle out. Oftentimes they are to teach us something.
Absolutely.
They're not. We stay often way too long past the expiration date.
We
right?
just weigh it out.
Right? So for me, what does love feel like? It feels like me loving me the best version of myself. And then what I prayed for is that, Lord, you know me better than I know me. I'm constantly working to be the best version of myself. But I trust that I don't have a checklist anymore. I'm not looking for the perfect thing or anything. All of that to me is unrealistic. What I'm looking for is somebody that I connect on all those levels with. And then the feeling will naturally evolve in my mind.
I agree with that. I think I'll keep that.
You'll keep that? Okay. So let me say again, Lola's dating.
I'm dating.
Which says she's open to love. So let's zoom that in. Let's make sure that you get a good look at her, Sam, so that they can get it. Good, excellent. We want to make sure they get what they need. Okay?
You can have strange people on TikTok sending messages.
Oh my God. Let me say thank you. This has been fun. It's fun when we get together no matter what.
All
It's been
the time.
fun. I'm so grateful that you came.
Oh, I'm so grateful that you asked me to come, truly.
And that will be our show. I want to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Because you could have been anywhere else, but you right here with us. That's a Jay-Z line. Till next time. Thank you.